Today we'll be checking out the strangest trains in Israel. We'll be looking at how a Danish train made its way to the Middle East. Exploring the special design that makes these trains just so unique, in what might be their final year on the Israeli railways. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm in Haifa, the third largest city here in Israel, at the Galim railway station. I'm really excited for today's journey because it's not often you get Danish built trains abroad. As with all Israeli railway stations, to enter the station you have to pass through a small security checkpoint. But once inside, the station here is pleasant with a small shop. Sadly it was closed today. Tickets can easily be acquired from the ticket machine, or there is the option of using the Move It app, which allows for mobile tickets. Despite being a fairly small country, the railway network here in Israel is actually fairly extensive, running along the length of the country. Right, let's catch our train. You can also travel with a Ravcaf card, which works as a pay-as-you-go card for all public transport in Israel. I got one at the arrivals hall at the Ben Gurion airport. The station here is fairly small, with just one platform for each direction and a passing track in the middle. Trains from Haifa operate to various destinations in the north as well as Tel Aviv and run frequently during the day. Trains in the Haifa area are generally operated by these diesel push-pull trains. But of course, that's not what we are here for today. Instead, here comes our strange-looking IC3 unit, designed and manufactured by ABB Scandia, initially in the Danish city of Randers. These units can run together in pairs of 5, each with 3 carriages. Today's service is made up of 3 sets or 9 cars. Right, let's get on board and check these out. I'm wondering how different they will be from the Danish ones. The first major difference is that there's no first class on board. And as with all other trains in Israel at the moment, there's no reserved seating either. So we can just grab any seat we'd like. It doesn't look like today's train will be busy anyway. Right, now that we are moving, let's take a look at today's route. Today we are starting in Haifa and taking Israel Railways train 6072. From here at the Bat Galim station we will be heading east, making several stops along the route before arriving in the historic town of Beit She'an. The journey is 63 kilometers long and scheduled to be completed in just 55 minutes, giving the train an average speed of 68 kilometers per hour. Right, so let's get into the history of these trains. The design for these trains was originally made for the Danish state railways, but in 1992, as part of a major investment in modernizing the Israeli railways, 10 train sets were ordered from ABB Scandia in Denmark and delivered by ship to Israel. In 1994, 31 sets were constructed locally in Israel in the town of Dimona by Israel Aerospace Industries on license from ABB Scandia. Finally, in 2005, a further 9 sets were acquired after they had been retired by the previous owner of SJ, the Swedish railway company. Oh, and if anybody knows where I can hire a graphic designer, maybe leave a comment down below. I think I could maybe use some help. Sadly, the days of IC3s in Israel are soon coming to an end. As the railway electrification program here in Israel pushes ahead, they will no longer be needed for the current timetables, with many of the sets already being parked in the depots, only seeing limited use. In fact, even a few of the Israeli sets have been shipped back to Denmark, as the Danish state railways really need them for spare parts, as the IC3 is still very much the backbone of the Danish train fleet. And as a Dane myself, of course I've done a video on them already. You can see that video by pressing the link in the top right hand corner. We are now coming into Haifa Central. This is where the railway line diverges and we are now entering the Beit She'an branch. The station here is the terminus of an urban gondola system connecting the station to the university. Yes, that's right, a ski lift as actual public transportation. Oh, and there's also a major bus terminal here. Despite using some of the oldest trains in the Israeli Railways fleet, the line to Beit She'an actually reopened in 2016 after having been closed in the late 1940s. Right, let me show you around these trains. Unlike the DSB trains, there's only a toilet at one of the two vestibules. And there's been made more space in the vestibule as well as wider doors, featuring tables roughly half the length of the ones in a Danish IC3. Up here is the reason for why the trains are shaped like they are at the front. It's to provide easy passage between units when they run together in multiple. The driver's cab can simply turn 90 degrees and you can walk on to the next unit. And I guess it's time we check out the seats. Features a fairly large table, a small plastic armrest, a movable armrest as well in the middle. The seats themselves are nothing to write home about, they do the job fairly okay. Up above you will find an inconveniently located power outlet. You might also notice that the reading lights are missing. Except that's only the case on the units manufactured domestically in Israel. The units that were manufactured in Denmark both feature full-size tables, as well as reading lights. Maybe something was lost in translation. And no video is complete without a Lou review. In the train sets manufactured in Denmark, this is identical to the Danish IC3s. There's a baby changing spot. The toilet itself has seen better days, but the water is functional. It was stocked with paper and was fairly clean. So I guess for this old train we can give it a pass. The toilets look slightly different on the Israeli built trains, but I had no luck entering. And while DSB may have updated their jingle in Denmark, the old one continues on here. And now I think it's time I end the Train Geek Fact Show and explain why you might want to travel along this railway for other reasons than the train itself. So I'm not gonna hide the fact the main reason I traveled along this railway line was to try one of these trains. But it turns out in Beit She'an there's actually a really great national park, with some of the most well-kept ruins from the Byzantine and Roman Empire. Big recommendation from me. It can easily be visited as a day trip from Tel Aviv, and there was basically no one there when I visited. This station is Kfar Baruch, where we meet with the Haifa-bound train. The line sees an hourly service off-peak, with 30-minute frequencies in the peak hours. If you want to catch an IC3 before they're gone, you gotta head to Israel quick. From my understanding is that they will be retired this year. As far as I know, they mostly run on the line here to Beit She'an from Haifa, as well as the shuttle to the Lod shopping mall. If you have any information about the lines they are currently used on and or updates regarding to the retirement, please leave a comment down below. Oh, and if you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I upload videos like this about once every week. Generally focused more on the journey rather than the train, but exceptions like this occur. And we were soon enough coming up on Beit She'an. I really like these trains both back in Denmark as well as here in Israel. And the Israeli railways are generally pretty reliable and operate across most of the country pretty frequently. Tickets are generally pretty cheap, and I guess we should talk about tickets. The fare came in at 24 shekels, which is about 6.3 euros, and I don't think this is terrible value for a regional journey. Tickets can easily be purchased either at the station or using the Move It app, as well as using the RAVCAF card. There doesn't seem to be any discount to purchasing in advance, so just rock up to the station and buy your ticket when you arrive. If you want to follow my travels in real time, you can follow me on Twitter. There's also a link to it in the description. Also do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to see the best of Israel's railways, check out my video on the new high-speed line from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. Just click the link in the top right hand corner. And here we are, arriving right on time into our final destination, Beit She'an. We are arriving next to one of the other trains used on this line. One of Siemens Viago light fixed passenger cars, a distant cousin of the well-known Railjet family. It doesn't look to be in the best condition. Maybe it's been parked here as a spare, or maybe it had broken down earlier in the week. Or perhaps it would be brought into service again in the peak where more trains are used on this line. I hope you have enjoyed this video and the look into this train's history. They may look strange, but there's certainly a lot of history behind them. Thanks for watching.